Hello everyone, I am Suraj and I'm currently pursuing psychology. I am in my final semester of my graduation, and since the new academic session is about to start, many of you guys are thinking of choosing psychology as your subject in graduation. So I just thought it will be helpful if I make this video on things you should consider before you choose psychology, because there are a lot of myths, there are a lot of preconceptions, there are a lot of assumptions regarding this subject, especially in India. So are those really true? And if those are not true, then what is the truth? Those are the things I will be talking about in this video, and some of the common doubts students have, and things I have learned from my experience and from observing others, so that you don't have to make those mistakes to learn. Hope you find this helpful. First of all, let's clarify the doubt between Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Bachelor of Science in Psychology. That is a major doubt. I already made a reel on this. So, if you are pursuing psychology from a private college, things will be a bit different, because, like in my college, the subjects change every semester. The main subject and the additional or side subjects too, all of them change in every semester. Like, we had very versatile subjects, and I think UGC guidelines mention this. There are no like core subjects. I mean, the core subject is psychology, but there are no specific one subject that stays throughout all 6 semesters. Okay, so like in first semester we had research and methodology, and then second we had developmental, third we had cognitive and individual differences, fourth we had something, fifth we had something, and sixth we have like three or four subjects, and one of them is research, which consumes a lot of time, so there are so less number of subjects. And also throughout these semesters we had extracurricular subjects like video editing and videography. English I think is mandatory, and things like that, computer. So when I pursued psychology, the clarity I had that if I take Bachelor of Arts, I am more likely to have subjects from arts group in my as my side subjects, and if I take science, I will be have subjects from science group in my side subjects. Okay, like if I take Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, I'll be having like I thought history and I don't know, civics in along with my psychology core subjects. And if I take science, I'll be having economics or something like that, physics, I thought. Okay, that was my conception. But when I joined, I understood that I don't think that is the case anymore. And even after my semester, after my batch, which is very unlucky, I'll come to that later. So after I joined in 2022, in 2023 NEP properly applied in my state and mostly all over India. Graduation became a 4-year course, and a lot of the syllabus changed. Like my juniors, they are studying film psychology and studying a lot of subjects that we studied later. They're studying it in previous semesters. So a lot of things changed and became more interesting, I think. So if you're going to private college, things will be very versatile, and even in government colleges, which I am not sure of. But mostly the difference remains in that if you take Bachelor of Arts, you are more likely to have arts oriented subject, and if you take Bachelor of Science, you are more likely to have science oriented subjects. Although there is no inherent difference, or I mean, if you're thinking about pursuing further education, your degree will not be differentiated between the Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science in most places. That is because the eligibility criteria remains like that. And if you do Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, you can pursue Masters of Science in Psychology, and even if you do Bachelor of Science, then you can obviously pursue MSc. And same way, if you pursue BSc, you can further in your masters, you can have masters in arts in psychology. Okay, so it goes both way around, so there is no inherent disadvantage. Okay, rather I think if you're confused about these two things, I think you should go for the college. If you're getting a good college, it doesn't matter if you're getting a bachelor of arts or bachelor of science. So think about that. Another thing that is very important while getting this degree, and even in most degrees, that is choosing a good college. And what do I mean by a good college? I mean a college which is well established, I mean which is not very recent, like which the psychology department is at least 10 plus years old, or even 5 6 years old at least. Okay, like in my college, our department is not that very old, and we faced a lot of challenges due to that. So I would suggest that you go for a older pre-established college, so that you have a strong faculty, a faculty that know how to, even faculty experience matters, so a faculty that is experienced will help you a lot. And I would suggest you go for a college where the faculties are well educated and well experienced, where you can actually learn about psychology between the lines. Like everywhere you are going to be suggested books, and most of the colleges, they don't really teach you anything. Okay, and this is the reality of our education system, but still there will be some teachers, and you are going to have to find them and cling to those teachers to learn between the lines. That's what is gonna help you grab the gist of the subject. That's how you are going to find those things that are actually interesting about the subject, not just theoretical stuff. Another thing is that, especially after the COVID happened, we really saw people being interested in this subject, which is a really good thing, because we needed awareness on this subject. We needed mental health awareness, which is a really good thing, and we have such a huge shortage of psychologists, and even till now we have such a huge shortage. But the thing is that opportunities are very less in this subject. I think they are growing, be it private opportunities or government job openings and opportunities, they are very less. And since people are not so much aware, like physical health, even if you open up a clinic or work in a clinic, you are getting less number of people who are able to visit you. Like if you are a physician or a general doctor, there are general doctors in every lane of India. Okay, but there are, if you open a psychological clinic in a not so crowded lane, people are not going to come from very far away to your clinic. I mean, people are going to come, but it's going to be difficult, since not many people, not a large number of population is very much aware of this and doesn't consider this as a need of their health, doesn't consider mental health as something that is needed to be checked up on. Let me share a personal realization with you. So when I joined college as a psychology student, I thought I'll be learning some new hidden technique, or more like a skill to understand human behavior better than others. But the more I studied through the semesters, the more I realized that there is no such magic trick that they are going to teach you, and most of it is going to be theories and theories, like lots and lots of theories for simpler things, which will help you understand the simpler things in a more simpler way or complex way. Like you'll be learning things that are considered very general, and even the layman knows that this is why this happens, but you'll be understanding that in a more detailed way, and that will help you apply it to other things that are similar to that and happens due to the same causes or nature of human mind, but Those are the things that a layman is not aware of. I don't know if you get that, but just know this, that there will be lots and lots theories, and it's gonna be boring sometimes. Sometimes some of the theories are really interesting, but most of it are very boring and very surface level. Like, if you read out the name of the theory, you're going to get 50% of what it's gonna be about. That's like 50% of the theories I'm talking about, and the other 50%, like the psychosexual theory or the psychosocial theory, or the stages of cognitive development, the stages of moral development. Okay, those are the things that are really interesting. Conditioning, and like classical conditioning, operant conditioning, the id, ego, super ego, unconscious mind, subconscious mind, conscious mind. These are the things that are really interesting, but other things like very surface level, I feel like. Personally, I'm not saying those theories are not in depth, not based on in depth research or anything. I just feel like that those are things that are very general, and even any layman knows that. But obviously there is a need for theorizing them with a proper term because of some use, I think. I didn't mean to demotivate you towards psychology. It is obviously a very interesting subject, and the faculty, the type of people that pursue psychology, I think, are very beautiful. And if you have a good college, you're going to have good classmates, and it will be a very good atmosphere. I think the psychology faculty and the psychology department and psychology classmates are very different from other subjects like engineering or BBA or BCom. I personally think so. I think there's a very much openness throughout the class, because in our class we actually shared a lot of things that I think are not generally shared in other classrooms. We have shared our bad experiences, some people have shared their traumatic experiences, and there are so many students that have broken up, like they couldn't resist crying in the class while sharing their experiences. That's how intense it can get. And a lot of studying psychology is not the theories, but actually learning and accepting yourself, and learning and applying those theories on your own behavior, and getting to know yourself and your classmates better, becoming more and more open, becoming more and more non-judgmental. That is the beauty of this subject, I think. So I have such a good faculty. Obviously there are going to be bad memories and bad situations somewhat, but I think our faculty is very, very open towards many things that students find difficulty in their college life. I think that's a really good plus point. I think if we try to apply the theories we learn in class on ourselves and on the world around us, the subject is more beautiful than we realize. Even I am slowly and gradually realizing that and trying to apply that, because you know what, subjects like physics, chemistry, biology have been existing for so long. Psychology is a relatively new subject, so the applications have been less and less on the commercial sector, and even when it is applied, it is not recognized. Like, psychology is such a intertwined subject with everything, like anything and everything, that we don't appreciate it enough, I feel like. And there's no such craze and joint entrance exams and other exams regarding this, and it's not taught throughout our school life, mostly in 11 and 12, and that is not also in every school and every schools. So I feel like that's why very few number of people have came out applying these things commercially, or more like in real world situations. There have been applications like broad research for developing theories, broad applications and all. There are great experiments like the Stanford prison experiment, for example, but I'm talking about like small and small things which can like developing a product based on psychology. I feel like those are some things that are very less in number regarding this subject, so that's why maybe I feel like that. Maybe you will not feel like this. Okay, this was just my personal experience and personal realization. Another thing that you should be really really ready for is a long academic journey, because I don't know what will be the next updates RCI is going to have, but according to the last year's update, they have especially for my batch, like that what I was talking about earlier, I am the batch that's like I'm the last batch that has 3 years graduation. So the thing is that people from 2023 will be having 4-year graduation, and they can directly go for PsyD, that is doctorate in psychology, or they can directly go for MPsy. Okay, but we and people who have 3 years graduation won't be able to do that. We'll have to pursue masters for 2 years, then we'll have to pursue MPsy or PsyD. That is also not very clear, because the course MPsy is still not available in 2025, but this is the last year MPhil will be existing to become a clinical psychologist, and from next year PsyD will be there, no MPhil, and PsyD is of 4 years, MPhil was of 2 years. That's a very different topic, but what I'm talking about is even if you are doing a 4 years graduation, psychology is a long academic subject. If you are pursuing psychology graduation, that will be a 4 years. Then if you are going for specialization like a master's, that will be 1 year. If you're going to be a clinical psychologist, like a proper full-fledged clinical psychologist, that will be another 4 years PsyD, in which 2 years MPsy will be integrated. Now there have been divisions, RCI made divisions and clear distinctions even in the post of clinical psychologist, that is associate and assistant clinical psychologist. We'll talk about that in some other video. So there is a very much shortage of psychologists, and some people are really taking advantage of that throughout the years, which has both good and bad sides, obviously. Like people are getting help, but on the other hand they're getting help from the wrong people who are not skilled enough. If I go around and look at people who are practicing, I can find so many people that are not really qualified for the help they are giving, for the service they're providing. Okay, so but last year the RCI had made clear distinctions, like the lines that were blurry before have been made really clear and really legally properly clear. Like if you are not maintaining that, you are bound to get like legal punishment. If someone complains against you, your license will be cancelled even if you have one, if you are not qualified for the service you are giving. Suppose you have a master's degree in something, but you are giving therapy to special population, like you are treating mental disorders, you are not a clinical psychologist if you don't have an MPhil and a RCI registered license. You just have a master's degree and you're treating mental disorders, then you are not following the rules. In that case, you may get punishment if someone complains against you. So psychology has a long academic journey, and you should be ready for that. You should be ready for the theoretical part of it and the practical part of it, and everything in between. Okay, I am not trying to demotivate you on something. I personally also am not very fond of this theoretical part of studying and all. I always wanted to do more practical things. That's why I mentioned these points. I also felt like if psychology was a more practical oriented course and a shorter course, I would be really glad. But it's not, especially in India. So just be ready for that. And the last doubt I think we all have while we are choosing a course for college is that how much will we actually earn from this degree. So sorry to break it to you, but from my personal experience and from the people I have talked to, my teachers and all, I feel like the people who are actually earning big in this field has a really long experience, a really big exposure to different kind of things. Like people who have 10 plus years of experience, have various skills and a huge academic journey. Those are the people who are actually making it big in this field, like properly big. 1,80,000, 75,000 per month. But most people, if you are having a graduation degree, I don't think you're going to find a job for more than 10-12,000 rupees per month in India. Even our college had placement where people got placed for the same amount I mentioned. But if you are having a master's degree, the scope increases. You are eligible for 25,000, max to max 30,000 rupees if you're really good at it. And if you are having a diploma or a degree after master's, even that is if you are not a professor, if you are not in a college or university teaching, when you do that, the scope increases. You get promotion, you have a decent salary like 40,000 rupees. If you clear net, if you have academic papers, more and more the salary increases. I think even few months back UGC cancelled the requirement of having to clear net to become a professor in college, so we have to look at that too. See, if you are trying to have a career in this subject, you are going to at least have a master's degree, and I'll tell you the opportunities you are going to get. There are very few government posts, like I don't know if even 10 job openings are there in a year from the central government, like big job openings I'm talking about, with good salary, more than 30-40,000. Okay, so you are going to mostly get a job on clinics. People who have already established clinics are seeking assistants in their clinic. You're going to get a job there. You're going to get a job in school as a school counselor. You're going to get a job in NGO and social work. Various types of NGOs really recruit psychologists, and you're going to have the opportunity to become a professor or a school teacher. Those are the various things you can do after a master's degree with some other 1 year or 6 months courses, like a bachelor's in education to be a school teacher, or a diploma from NCRT on developmental psychology to become a child counselor. Okay, so these are the things you can become, but the pay scale, the starting pay scale at least, is not very high. I think it gets, in urban areas it gets max to max up to 30,000. I think that is the benchmark for starting, and that is also very hard to get. And it's really disappointing after studying for 5 years, after investing 5 years in a subject, getting that salary. As I said, it's a long academic journey, but then if you pursue MPhil, I mean that's not anymore there. So if you pursue MSci, or if you complete the SciT, if you become a clinical psychologist, a full-fledged or assistant or associate clinical psychologist, then the pay scale increases, and then it keeps increasing throughout years along with your experience. Then there's that other part which is very lucrative but very difficult as far as I've heard, that is opening your own private clinic and marketing yourself and getting clients. Then the possibility is limitless. If you hire people, if you open up a clinic in a urban hub, then there is no limit to how much you can earn. It totally depends on how well you can market yourself. But obviously experience is going to play a role, because people go to psychologists who have experience, people go to doctors who have experience. If you look up online on Practo or other website, you're going to see those people who are on top, that have 10 plus year, 15 plus year, 20 plus year, 25 plus years of experience. So those are the people that really have that influence, and people come to them. It's really difficult to open up a clinic. I'm not saying it's impossible, or again, not try to demotivate you, but that's another way where it more or less goes into the commercial sector and becomes a business. That's very negative. It sounds very negative, but it goes in that way, and you can have a limitless opportunity in earning, because obviously looking after how much you can earn is not at all a bad thing, and obviously is a very real and a very real thing to look about when you're trying to pursue a subject, even if your main motivation is to help people or something. So that was about this video. See you in the next one.